rapists, perjurers, people who steal. I don't make apologies for any of it. Not one moment am I going to sit here publicly or privately and say that I apologize for that. And I'm not going to say the old story, some of my best friends are black or some of my best friends are Jewish.
I hate that. I'm with you.
I stand by whom I represent.
Right.
I'm proud of who I represent.
Right.
There may be some people that I would not represent, but not for 1 minute am I going to sit here and say, well, gee, I don't know. And I've talked to bar associations and I said, listen, if you got a problem with it, get out of the business. It's who we are. It's what we stand for. It's what we do in life.
Yeah.
And I represent my clients, and this gentleman called before. I don't make any apologies.
Well,
for that.
you don't.
Nor do I make any apologies for what I've said on this show.
Yeah, I should also point out that you and I have been together over 20 years, and we've had this conversation multiple times. And I always assume people have heard this before, but it's probably been a long time since you said that. I mean, you and I in the past have had long discussions about who you represent and how you choose to represent them. And, you've always maintained to say, somebody comes to you and you feel as though they need representation.
Let me tell you, it's more than that. It's not just the money. I've represented people. We've done this. Tom's done this. I've done this. Pam's done this. My firm has done this. There may be certain, just can't or I won't. But I don't draw the line in the people I represent.
No, you made that clear.
I told my secretaries, they said, I don't care what they've done. That's my client. I'm going to do what I can for them.
Let's talk.
Represented pedophiles, rapists, murderers, thieves. Would you represent one of these hate-filled bloggers?
Yes. Yes.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Well, why are you surprised at that, Tom? Of course you would.
Well, how could he represent somebody that he totally believes is doing something wrong?
Well, you think I believe in rape?
Yeah.
You think I believe in murder?
Well, I'm assuming you think he's innocent when you represent him for rape.
No, I don't assume that at all necessarily. Listen, I've had people sit in my office and tell me, yeah, I did it. Yeah, I absolutely did it. Okay.
But you don't get up there and say they didn't do it.
Well, that's a different story.
Oh,
because the reason why that's a different story is because if someone sits in my office and says to me, listen, did I kill him? Say theoretically, yeah. Do I have a defense? Yes. Do I stand up and defend him and say he's not guilty? Of course I do. I don't find anything inconsistent with my position on that. But if you're asking me what I represent as a person who is a hate blogger, sure I would.
Well, if he doesn't have the First Amendment right to do it, how can you represent him then?
Because what I've said was that if a person puts something on the blog, which is, in my opinion, now this is my opinion, which is clearly a crime, then he will have a right or she will have a right to representation. So,
but if somebody,
I think what you're not getting in the sense of what happens with a representation. When you're sitting there,
the internet is the last place of total free speech, real free speech in America. I mean, there's no other place you can really do it but on the internet. You can go on there. You can learn how to make bombs. You can look at porno. I mean, not that I want to do that stuff. But it's total free speech, and it makes me nervous when the government starts to get involved in the internet and starts to prosecute people for saying things that they feel like they should be able to say.
Well, Steve and I would, I think, 100% agree with you with respect to free speech. Free speech should not include threats. Look at that case.
Yelling fire in a crowded movie theater.
It's like yelling fire in a crowded movie theater. Okay, wasn't it down in Texas or somewhere where a young woman committed suicide? I thought I remember because she was getting all these threats, through her email.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, but I don't think it was Texas. I think
wherever it
may have been Connecticut.
Okay.
No, you're right.
There's a point. Okay, you have a right to free speech to say I don't like that person.
Right.
It's different to say, I don't like that person, and I wish she were dead. Okay, and that's a big difference.
Big leap.
Exactly.
I've heard politicians say things like that.
No, there's no question. By the way, the fact that you were to say, I don't look at it, defend pornography, you're right. That's a First Amendment right. I don't disagree with that. In fact, if you wanted to look at it or I wanted to look at it, I have an absolute right to look at it. But, and we raised this before, where is the line drawn? In my opinion, I think what's happening around this country and on a lot of these blogs, it's crossing the line.
Right.
And the courts have not really got into this issue, in New York State anyway, as to how far you can go in a particular case and putting stuff on your blog.
You have a right.
Well, could it be all of a sudden because it's affecting you and it's affecting Paul that you feel this way? I mean, they can get to you now, so you don't like it.
No, I'll answer that two ways. do I like being criticized? Am I going to like this morning when I hear
Nobody
about,
likes it.
Of
No.
course not. So that's a very valid point. Do I have a certain prejudice in a way? Yes. On the other hand, I'm not looking to arrest anybody. I'm simply saying that I think some of this stuff on private citizens goes way too far, and that's where I stand.
You can't.
I'm the same way.
That's making a big step from the internet to.
No,
Yeah, but a lot of people don't believe that's a big step.
Right.
You and I may believe. You and I may believe
Well,
that's a
that's
big
their
step.
problem. I mean, that's not my problem.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't do that. I want
Right.
to be able to say what I want to say on the internet. I don't
Yeah,
want
and-
the government involved.
Fair enough, and we agree. I think the problem is a lot of people don't believe that's such a monumental step that you and us may believe that is.
I got
So
it.
you're gonna suppress someone's speech on the internet because you're afraid they're going to go stalk somebody.
No, I don't think he's saying that.
That's
Tom.
not what I'm saying at all.
I don't think he's saying
I'm
that.
just saying, if it reaches that point where...
Well, then they're committing a crime. If they stalk somebody, I mean, it's
Yep.
two different things.
Yep,
exactly.
I got it.
Right.
We got it. Tommy, I got to run.